Hello, I am live on Facebook and just waiting to see if anyone else is going to join me before I start sharing my top 5 tips. I'm doing this a little bit differently today in that I am trying to follow on my laptop at the same time as my phone because I'm still trying to work out what's the best way to do Facebook Live. So thank you for joining me. I am going to kick off in a moment sharing my top 5 tips to help you get writing to market your business. And this is going to be relevant if you are trying to write a book to promote your business, or if you're trying to write something else, whether that's a blog, an email newsletter, a presentation, it could be anything. And if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the comments and I will either answer them as we go along or at the end. Or if you want to drop me a message, feel free to do that via the Facebook page and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you for joining me. The reason that I'm doing this Fruitful Friday live chat today is because I've just finished writing my book finally. So some of you might have seen the proof copy that I've had around for a while, Get Fruitful Playbook, something I've been working on over the last year. And this is basically the workbook for the course that I run. And it has all the worksheets in here with explanations of how to complete the exercises. And if you come on my group course, you get a copy free of charge. And it's also going to be available to buy as a standalone product. So later this year it will be on Amazon and you can buy it from all good bookshops. And the idea is that you can guide yourself through the Get Fruitful process by reading the book, filling out the exercises. Hi Sharon, thank you for joining me here. And if you come on the course, then I will guide you through the exercises. So my top 5 tips. One of the things that I found myself saying a lot over the last few months is I need to find the time to write. And the truth is you just don't find time. It doesn't sort of lurk in corners of your house. You have to make time if something's important. And actually I think that one of the big things holding people back, and I'd speak for myself here as well, is actually not lack of time, but it's other things, and that's what I'm wanting to share here today. So these 5 things that I have discovered on my journey that might be holding you back, and they've been things that maybe I've struggled with as well. So the first thing that you need to find to get you writing, and as I say, this applies whether you're writing a book or anything else to promote your business, whether that's a blog, an email newsletter, a presentation, whatever. So the first thing is you've got to find your why. And there's this phrase that you need a big enough why will get you through any how, which you might have heard before. So you've got to have a really strong reason to want to write this book, because it's not necessarily going to be that easy and you are going to have to make time. So you've got to have a very clear objective about why you want to, publish this book. For me, I just want to help as many small business owners as I can to market themselves better, to get their messages heard, to connect with the right audiences, to help take their business to the next level, to grow their business. So that was a really compelling reason for me to write this book. I just want to help as many people as possible. And when I'm working one-to-one with clients, obviously I have a limited amount of time. I can only work with a small handful of clients each year in that way. I then developed the group program that I run to be able to reach out to a wider audience, and I can, fit more people in the room when I do a group session. But I'm only ever going to be able to reach a certain number of people doing that as well. So the book is just a way to reach a wider audience and to help more people. And it's also obviously more cost effective if you want to buy the book and guide yourself through the program. That's obviously a more affordable route to access my expertise and my knowledge than coming to work with me one-to-one or coming onto the group program. So yeah, the book can help more people in that way. So that was my number 1 reason. Other reasons why I'm doing the book are to help me promote my business. So obviously I hope it will be a revenue stream because people can buy it, and that will bring money into my business. But I'm also doing it as a way to generate more leads for my one-to-one work, to open up opportunities to speak, because when you are a published author, it's much easier to present yourself as an expert. If you have a book on the subject, people will also want you to come and talk. And yeah, that's another reason why I'm publishing a book, is to help me with my expert positioning, to open doors for speaking opportunities, and to generate more leads for my business in that way. So those were the reasons for me writing my book. And I would say the number one thing to help you get writing is be really clear on why you want to write this thing, whether it's a book or whatever else it is. So find your why is number one tip. I'm just referring back to my notes down here. Number two is find your voice. So people starting a new business, people in the early stages of a business, quite often struggle with this, and certainly something that I've been on a journey with over the last few months, having set up my business a couple of years ago now. It's finding a very clear voice for your brand, for your business, and for you as a business person. And that means creating a tone of voice and a unique identity from which you can speak and write about your business. So one of the things I help clients with, and one of the things that we do on the Get Fruitful program, is look at your brand personality and create a sense of your business as being a separate entity from yourself. Now, obviously, if you're starting a business on your own, you are the business a lot of the time. You're doing everything. You're wearing lots of hats. And it can be a bit of a leap to overcome that idea of the business being separate from you, because it feels so much like it is your baby. But for the business to really flourish and grow, you do need to find a way to separate yourself from it and create a whole identity for it that is distinct from yourself. And obviously there will be a lot of overlap, if it has been born from you and it's kind of your brainchild, it will have a lot of your own personal preferences and characteristics kind of imbued in that brand. But if you want to grow the business so that it's not just you, you've got other people coming into your team, maybe you're outsourcing work or working in partnership with business associates and other partners, you need to find a way to bring people under a sort of united banner, and for them to all share in the brand and the culture of the business. So you need to find a way for that business to speak collectively, and for other people to be able to carry that voice and to communicate in a consistent way. So tip number two is find your voice. And there's various exercises that I have in the book and that I teach through the group program and to my clients, which can help with that. But basically, the more you do, the more writing you do, the more speaking you do, it's just practice. You just get better and better at creating that voice. And, you can think about key words and phrases that maybe you use that express that personality. You can also think about other ways to share the brand personality through other visual tools like photography, graphic design, and colour are all really key. So anything that expresses that personality, whether that's words or pictures, you just need to give a bit of thought to that so that there's a consistent look and feel and a consistent tone of voice to the messages that you're putting out there. So tip number one, find your why. Tip number two, find your voice. The third thing that you need to find to get writing, to promote your business, is your message and messages. So everybody needs a key message for their business. For me, with Get Fruitful Marketing, the key message that I'm trying to share with the world, or share with business owners, particularly who are my target market, is that you need to think more strategically about your marketing. You need to have an overview about how all the different aspects of marketing link together into an integrated whole, and take a very planned, considered approach to what you're doing. So that's my key message. And then I have a number of sub messages that come underneath that one key message. And thinking that through and putting my series of key messages together has helped me create a structure for the book. And it's also created a structure for the program that I run. So I encourage you to think about that as well, and that will help you if you're ever structuring a press release or a blog or a presentation or whatever it is. Just think, what is the one key message that you want to get across? And to help you deliver that one key message, what are the sub messages? Maybe there's 3, 4 or 5 sub messages. You don't want too many, otherwise it just all gets a bit chaotic and unmanageable. So just a limited number of key messages that you want to communicate with your target audience. I'm going to loop back to number 1 actually, because there's something that I missed out. So link to your why, your reason for wanting to write, whatever the thing is that you want to write. You also need to be really clear on who it's for. So this is obviously linked to the purpose of your communication. So what is it that you want to communicate and who do you want to communicate to? So in the Get Fruitful Marketing Program, I talk about, I think we've got 20 Ps. People may have heard of the 4 Ps of marketing or 7 Ps of marketing. And in my program, we have about 20. And when we're talking about the why, we're talking about your passion. What's the passion that fuels you, the thing that motivates you and makes you want to write and to share your message with the world, and your purpose, your reason for doing it, and also the people that you want to target. So your target market is a way that it's quite often described. Your target audience, whoever it is that you want to speak to. So yeah, just looping back to number 1 there. And obviously message relates to that. So this core message is something that you feel very strongly about, and you have something to say on the matter. It also has to resonate with the people that you're trying to target. So it needs to be something that's relevant and interesting and meaningful to them as well. Point number 4, the last penultimate thing that you need to find to help you get writing to promote your business is your method. You need to find the method that works for you, and different things work for different people. So I know people who have had a ghostwriter help them write the book. I know people who get up every morning and write a few pages or a certain number of words every day. I know people who've gone off on a retreat and hidden away in a hotel or gone camping in the middle of nowhere where there's no phone signal and no internet to distract them, and they've just taken that time out. I know people who have audio transcribed their books, so maybe they've recorded onto a dictaphone or videoed themselves and written up what they've spoken out loud. Some people find that useful. So for me personally, the method that I found worked for me and was most helpful, I obviously delivered the course that forms the structure for this book, and I did that 4 times over the last 18 months, and that helped me to create all the content, helped me create the worksheets, helped me test the methodology and the process. And then I did an online version of the course earlier in the year, and I recorded the webinars that I did, and then I listened to them. Played them back, and I transcribed myself basically. And I thought about, explored hiring somebody to do that transcription for me, but I actually felt that I needed to do that myself because I was able to anticipate what I was saying, and I was able to sort of develop the copy myself. And if I'd hired somebody to do that for me, they wouldn't have been able to do that. So that's how I wrote the book. I audio transcribed myself, and then I used that as the starting point, as the first draft, I guess, for finishing the book. So yeah, find the method that works for you is tip number 4. Tip number 5, the last thing that you need to find to get you writing to promote your business is, just checking my notes here, you need to find a way to make it real. So often the idea of a book is a rather nebulous, fantastical notion. And lots of people say, oh, I'm going to write a book, I want to write a book. And they never get round to it because it's just a fantasy, it's not real. So you've got to find ways to make this real for yourself, and that will make you do it. So for me, the way to make it real was to set a deadline and make myself publicly accountable, and to get a tangible physical copy of the book into my hands as soon as I was humanly able to do so. So there's a number of things that I did to make that happen. First of all, I booked a venue and I set a date for a launch event. I wasn't sure if the book would be ready then, and it kind of wasn't quite. I did have the proof copy in my hands for that event, but yeah, I didn't have the final finished version. But that was really important for me because I had to put myself out there. I had to say, look, I'm doing this. I had to commit money to the venue. I had to pay for the catering. I had to get somebody to help me manage the event. So that made it really real because there was money involved. There was public face, and yeah, really focused my mind to work towards that deadline. Then getting the proof, you know, made that really real. And as I was working towards this, every time I got a page finished, or every time I had a proof of one of the pages from my designer sent to me, I would print it out and put it into a ring binder file, which helped me with the proofing. It helped me kind of have a place to write and scribble notes, but it made it more real just having something to physically hold in my hands. And yeah, another thing that I did earlier on in the process, I got the front cover designed. That was quite a long time before I even did the contents. So having that image of the cover really motivated me. So I really recommend that that's something that people do early on, because once you've got the image, yeah, you can see it in your mind much more clearly. It makes it much more real, and you can share that image with people and it makes it more real for them as well. So I was, you know, I put it on my website. That's another thing you can do. You can create a web page for the book to promote it. You can put it on social media. You can talk about it at events. And yeah, having something to show people just makes it more real. And then that spurs you into action. It makes it more likely that you're going to fulfill the dream and make it happen. What else have I done? I have made business cards more recently, and I've changed my job title on them. So it used to just say I was the director of Get Fruitful Marketing, and now I'm saying I'm an author as well. So that's on my business cards. And I'm changing things like my email signature, my LinkedIn profile. What else am I doing? Yeah, taking pre-orders. So when I did the book launch event back in May, I handed out pre-order forms to everyone who attended, and I had about 30 people in the room, and I think pretty much everyone requested a copy. Some people actually gave me cash on the day, and other people I'm still due to invoice. So that was another thing that made it very real. You know, when people are actually ordering your book and expecting a copy in their hands, then that's another really motivating factor. So I'm going to sum up there. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you everyone who's joined me live. And just to sum up, my 5 tips to get you writing to promote your business, whether that's writing a book, a blog, an email, a presentation, whatever it is. Number 1, find your why. Why do you want to write this thing? Who is it for? What is the purpose? Who are the people that you're writing it for? Number 2, find your voice. Have a very clear personality. Have a clear perspective. Number 3, have a clear message. Know your message. And have a series of sub-messages, and that will help you create a structure. Number 4, find your method. Find the way that works for you to help you get your message out there, and get help if you need to. And number 5, find a way to make it real, and that's about public accountability, giving yourself a deadline, and having a physical touch point or a touchstone to make your dream become a reality. So I hope that's been useful. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to wrap up now, and I will continue to be doing these Fruitful Friday Facebook Lives, hopefully every week around this time, lunchtime. Hopefully it's a good time for people to tune in. So see you here again. Thank you. Bye.